nice run here the rest of the season. He's got a class football team and class organization. In terms of my football team, this is, I thought we had a good game plan going in, and we didn't execute it very well. That's my responsibility. Didn't think we were as emotional as what we needed to be, and consequently, this is disappointing and, quite frankly, embarrassing. Questions?
After what they did last week in that no huddle, did you expect them to come out in that this week?
Well, we knew that they had it, obviously. I didn't really have an expectation along those lines that they would come out in a no huddle. I don't know that with what we do also, that was just interesting because our defense, because we're no huddle, they're pretty used to seeing it. So I don't think the no huddle had any impact on us in any form or fashion, other than allowing them to get a few more plays, which obviously they executed pretty well. But in terms of catching us off guard, I mean, our tempo is about as fast as it gets when we want it to be.
Coach, you had the holding penalty early that forced the field goal on the first drive, and then that offsides, and on that same series they converted the second fourth down. You talked about mistakes and not killing yourself. How
I
big
can't talk about the officiating.
I know it wasn't about the officiating, just the two. Okay.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about playing on the road and just how tough your schedule's been this September?
Well, we knew it going in. I think that it's certainly less challenging than Auburn, LSU, and Arkansas last year, which were all 3 top 10 games. So it's not. We're not unaccustomed to it. We're not going to use an excuse in terms of playing on the road or the talent level. We'll have a week to heal up, and right now, to be honest with you, quite frankly, we're a really beat up football team right now. We need to heal up pretty quickly.
How does Iowa compare with TCU, Florida State?
No, won't go there.
Is Colton okay?
Colton's fine.
The wide receivers are pretty big and athletic. They seem to cause some problems for you, size mismatches.
They did. We really had a difficult time for whatever reason today in playing any kind of zone coverage. I don't know why. We were having out-of-body experiences, and it wasn't anything that we hadn't seen before. But consequently, if you're not getting something done in a zone look and you're not being able to cover them, then you have to go man. And then they did a good job of picking on some of our smaller guys on our football team with some of their bigger receivers. So I agree.
Coach, can you comment on Iowa's passing game? Were those yards a credit to their offense, or is there holes in their defense?
I think obviously all that's attributable to both. I think that we came out at the start of the season, just to retrace real quickly, against a pretty good Florida State team. Our defense played really well, but they came back against Grambling. They played well, didn't play quite as well against TCU, and then played just horrific today. And I think some of it's a function of the fact that Iowa's done a nice job. I think some of it's a fact that we're emotionally tired right now, which is my responsibility. And then thirdly is, we're not quite as good as what everybody thought we were on defense to begin with. It's the bottom line. I mean, they can grow up and they can play well at times, but we're not near as consistent as what we need to be on defense, and that's shown in the last 2 ball games.
Couldn't get off the field on 3rd or 4th down.
Haven't been able to all season. I mean, we're like 95th in the nation in 3rd down conversions on defense. And unfortunately, in the other 3 ball games, we played really well on 1st and 2nd down. Today we didn't play well on 1st and 2nd down either. But we've struggled on 3rd down conversions the whole season, if anybody would look at the stats.
Drop passes uncharacteristic. It seemed like you couldn't get things going that first half.
Yeah, it's uncharacteristic of the guys, but not uncharacteristic to us, unfortunately, this year. We had the same thing happen to us against Florida State, where we dropped an awful lot of snaps that ended drives. Field position was once again, I think, a critical factor in the game, in between our lack of kicking game, our lack of ability to be able to stop anybody on 3rd down, and our inability to be able to catch a football. And so obviously we have some work to do, and again, that's my fault.
Did you expect them to run the ball more, Iowa, or did you have an expectation on that?
I didn't really have an expectation. I think that obviously they're a good good players, and they've got a good coaching staff, and they're gonna take whatever you give them. And I thought they did a good job of that today in terms of their game plan, in recognizing, you know, when we started blitzing, trying to make some things happen, you know, in terms of running that weak side zone and cutting everybody off and creating that extra gap for us to the one side. And then picking up some of our pressures and throwing the individual routes along with when we were playing zone, just kind of, you know, dropping back and just kind of finding open guys because they were all over the field.
How do you keep from letting these games be discouraging for your players? Because you're playing some of the better teams in the country, and then you have to kind of convince them or persuade them to keep building towards something different towards the end of the year.
Well, you know, I mean, one of the things that I've tried, because it doesn't impact me, because, you know, it's not about who you play, it's about how you play. That's what I'm upset about right now. It's not about who we play, it's not about the score at the end of the game, it's about how we play. This was very uncharacteristic of us as a football team, and that's my fault. That's what I'm disappointed in right now. I'll measure the team based off whether we're getting better and whether we're playing to our standard of performance, not based off the score, but whether we're getting better. And that doesn't make any difference whether it's Iowa or Grambling. I was upset after the Grambling game, you know, even though we won handily because of the simple fact that we didn't play up to our standard. And I'm disappointed right now because I don't think we played up to the standard that we're used to seeing our guys play at. And some of that's obviously attributable to a very, very good Iowa football team, but I also have seen this team play against Florida State and Arkansas and LSU and Auburn. I've seen them play against some other people. And for whatever reason today, lack of a better term, you know, we lost our stinger today.
You take anything